Yeah, warm greetings all. Reality with Partiality is a special purpose vehicle where individuals come on the show to narrate their own journey, past, present, and future, in becoming the best version of themselves. Recently, I received a call from Nelson Lowry, who has a project in the pipeline for Southern Belize, in particular Dandriga, that teaches youth special skills. You know, so he was to come on the show to introduce it, and in the meantime, Dr. Philip Castillo, economist, wrote a paper about the similar thing, providing the stats to back it up with his findings and recommendations, only to realize this week that in the cabinet brief, the first item addressed upgrading the IT vet down there in Hope Creek. So we're aware that politicians are listening to our show, and experts like Dr. Castillo. In the last show we did, which was yesterday, Richard Garcia educated our audience regarding the creation of the popular song "Manda Dog." I urge people to go and listen to his presentation because there's he mentioned a follow-up song to "Manda Dog," "Who Da the Baby Father." So both are narratives, both songs are telling stories, that you can dance to. Today at 10 a.m., we'll be having Joseph Guerrero, who will be making a two-part presentation. The first part telling of his journey, past, present, and future in becoming the best version of himself. And the other part about, his pet peeve, Belize Carinago communal land rights. Tomorrow, Sunday, we will have on the set life coach Wayne Moody, who will be making his presentation about the best version of himself and whatever else he may want to talk about. Maybe his practice, I don't know. But we've had Elder Andrew Bliskane, who in his presentation spoke about himself living with autism, on the heels of which Dr. McFadden, who holds one of three legs of our stool here for our design program, the other being Dr. Greg Arana and myself, the other two experts. Myself, a spiritual scientist, Dr. Arana handles physical, so, and Dr. McFadden handles mental health. So, physical, mental, spiritual health. Holistic, 1, 2, 3. Past, present, and future presentations are subjective, so they are about yourself. You tell your story straight without overshadowing yourself by drifting off and speaking about mentors, role models, detractors, and the like. Everyone has a journey and should be able to tell their story without coming across as if though they're boasting. So there are ways to address, you know, that issue if you have an issue you want to address. And so we coach people to be able to master their presentation, and to talk about themselves, which many people say they are uncomfortable of doing. In speaking about your journey, you don't confuse your audience by talking about an issue. You glean a couple events from your early childhood experience without boring your audience with a chronology speaking about your past. You inform your audience about the environment in which you grew up, where you got your early education, as well as your spirituality, either back in the day or present day. The bulk of your presentation should focus on your career ambition, which spans anywhere from 10 to 60 years in some people's cases, because you will become full fledged whenever you are dead if your mental acuity remains intact. Again, it is not to be confused with resume. Early childhood experience is not, to be confused with resume. It's about making a life, not earning a living. So your existential reality has to do with your lifespan, not your lifestyle. So you glean and tease out memorable experiences over the span of time that your your past and your present, and if along the way you covered your niche, or you found your niche, you discovered your niche, then you should tell people what it is. Your niche is that area of competence wherein you joyfully immerse yourself in it, and to where you don't know where the time goes. And then the last part of the journey presentation is about your vision going forward, which is not a big portion. A vision is just a larger ambition. You see, your ambition is about your own well-being, and a vision is where you're inclusive of other people, wanting for them the same thing you want for yourself, that is their well-being. So you have the choice of either making your presentation and afterwards, taking questions, or to do it conversation style, which is likened to an interview. It takes about the same time. Now, there are people who, in addition to their journey, past, present, and future, they want to address an issue. So, if that is the case, then they should tell me ahead of time, and then proceed to do a two-part presentation. First, speaking about their journey, past, present, and future, and then going on to, in the part B or part two, speak to the issue they want to address. For an issue presentation, to get raving reviews, from an audience, you've got to narrow the focus and own the issue by stating what it is and supporting it with evidence, with data. In other words, make your case, and convincingly so. If you only do a presentation about your journey, past, present, and future, it should take no longer than half hour or so, including questions, answering questions. And on top of that, and the questions are really not moderator style. We're not moderators on our show, but just to bring clarity to your presentation, and maybe for you to expound a little bit more on certain things that you have in your presentation. So you want to address an issue, you can do that in the B part of your presentation. Then the entire presentation would take not more than 40 minutes. So if it's only about the journey, it shouldn't take more than 25. If it's you have an issue you want to address, then the whole thing should take no longer than 40 minutes. Very few people are able to hold an audience much longer than that. Much obliged to all of you. Have a good one.